Hello, everyone. Pontificator here. Um, Read an article that I've been mega proud of everything that Sean Duffy and the Trump administration has done for trucking, and I'm not horribly disappointed by the news that they seem to be supporting autonomy and trucks. But I'm going to state my opinion on that. Um, for decades, a great number of decades, the trucking industry has been held to a standard. For instance, you get in an accident, okay? You have to communicate with the police. You have to put out safety flares. There's actually a law. What is it? 371. No, I think it's 392.22 or 23 that deals with you have 10 minutes to deploy safety flares or triangles within a certain distance and everything else. There's a whole set of parameters, whether you're on a straight highway or whether you're on a curve. It's got to be 200 feet, line of sight, and all sorts of stuff. Mega amounts of hours have gone into this, and these are the things that have been used to settle some lawsuits. And in many cases, when drivers failed to do some of these things, it added millions of dollars to the lawsuit. One example was in Kentucky on Interstate 75 quite a few years ago. I want to say about 10, maybe even 15. Snowstorm, truck stop, shoulder of the road. I don't remember exactly, but I know that a portion of the accountability fell upon the trucking company because the driver had not put out safety flares. Even though he had his hazard lights on, he had not put out his safety flares. And even though the people came onto the shoulder of the road and ran into the back of the truck, they used something called the butterfly effect or something about the flashing light. I don't remember it all in detail. It was quite a while ago. But that information was all used to find the driver or the company accountable through the driver's inaction. So if you have an autonomous truck, they can't deploy triangles. I don't even know. I'm not going to go into all of they can use drones or whatever. You can't have a human being there that makes the determination that I'm on a curve or I'm on a straight piece of road, so I have to deploy them at 10, 50, and 100, or 10, 100, and 200 feet. What about the fire extinguisher? The fire extinguisher is a hand device that is to be used by the driver in an attempt to prevent property damage, etc., damage to the load. Maybe his brakes are on fire. That will help. Maybe it won't. But an autonomous truck that does not have a human activating robot inside of it cannot do that. It just can't. So then, do autonomous trucks get to run around without fire extinguishers inside them? Don't talk about auto suppression systems, because unless you can blanket the entire truck, it's useless. One brake shoe on the left, right, arms left, right, on the right rear, the trailer, versus one on the front, left on the tractor, versus a fire in the engine that might be a small fire because, okay, you get it. Fire extinguishers. Let's say that there's an incident with an autonomous truck and we know that I was going to say 90%, but a high percentage of accidents involving trucks are not the fault of the carrier. So when a human being hits an autonomous truck, what kind of information can be provided to law enforcement? Trucks can't talk. Sure, they've got video, but that is useless to the autonomous or to the police officer that's there. Let's say someone sideswipes the truck, hits the truck. Is the truck going to pull over and deploy its safety flares? It can't. Can it direct traffic, which is actually expected of the driver for the increase of safety and the prevention of additional accidents? That's actually a requirement. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if an autonomous truck well, I'm sure they can adhere to the ELD rules and requirements, but they certainly can't deploy paperwork. So now are you going to train every officer across the country to go, oh, this is an autonomous truck. So now we have to climb inside of this truck and access this device, which is going to show us what's in the trailer. Let's say the trailer catches on fire. How do they know if it's hazmat? Well, placards. But how do they know what's inside of the trailer and whether or not it's going to be highly flammable or what they can do with it? Whereas a driver can jump out and say, man, this thing caught on fire. The fire truck pulls up and he goes, yeah, I got a load of X in there, and they know what to do. Are they in more danger now because they can't ascertain that from a human being that's there? You know, an autonomous truck cannot refuse to operate unsafely, which is required of drivers, even though sometimes they do. An autonomous truck cannot inspect itself. Okay? An autonomous truck can't say, you know what? My brake shoe on the right rear is low, and right itself up. Now, sure, there are other people that can be held accountable for that. But there are so many things, so many problems with pushing autonomy after holding trucking and carriers and driving accountable. Let's take Colorado. What are you going to do? And I know they have automatic safety chain or tire chains that rotate on that system that goes out onto the tires. Maybe that's a way around that. Man, look at the cost of having to put those on every single truck and trailer that goes through the mountains. Excuse me. You get the point. I don't know if that's a complete list. That's all I could come up with off the top of my head, but you get the point. If the government is willing to allow autonomous trucks to bypass all of these requirements that are expected of drivers, something is wrong. Someone's getting paid too much somewhere. Someone is in someone's pocket. Yes, I said it. Because how can you claim that this is all about safety, but you're getting ready to wipe out 10 or 15 requirements that drivers and carriers have been held, standards that drivers and carriers have been held to for decades, 30 or 40 years. And the harm is multiplied when these very same items are used by all of these attorneys to specifically label the carriers and the drivers incompetent, at fault, failed, liable. Are you following me on this? I don't have a clue as to how they can claim that this is about safety and they're allowing you. The only way to do this is to allow autonomous trucks to get away with murder. I said it. Autonomous trucks are being rushed and forced and hurried. Who will be accountable in the event of an issue? Who do you hold accountable? Or do you just wipe the slate and say, well, the people that created this technology, and I get it. You spend $5 billion developing this technology, not because you care about the trucking industry, because you're a capital company or an investment company that thinks that this can be shoved down the industry's throat, and you will sit back and rake in billions of dollars as a result. Yes, I said it. Okay? The trucking industry, I've said this before, is far more serious, far more real, far more dangerous, and held to a higher standard. And that standard cannot be and should not be reduced for autonomy. Pontificator here, guys, girls, ladies, men. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit follow wherever platform this is on. Help us out here. We got to get the word out. This trucking industry has to be reined in. The administration's thought process on this, maybe they're smarter than me. Oh, no, they're definitely smarter than me. I never claim to be the smartest person in the room, but we've got to get this information out here. We can't let autonomy wipe out trucking without the full or an increased amount of accountability. Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.